Hey, welcome back to Color Computer Programming. Today I want to take a look at I'm going to do an in-depth review of what it takes to compose a piece of music on a color computer 2 and make it sound good. Now, uh, I'm sure everyone's familiar with the play command. But unless you know how to use it effectively, it will not sound very good. So we have lots of octaves to work with. So there's no reason why we can't make a piece of music sound good. And I'm going to show you how right now. So the piece that I'm choosing is In My Life by the Beatles. Okay, I'm sure you guys are familiar with the Beatles, probably more so than I am, because I'm on the younger end of the spectrum. However, I do have some Beatles music in my my CDs and whatever, so not very much of it, but this is going to be, if you guys are familiar with this song, there's a harpsichord solo that is very famous uh, in this song. And without this harpsichord solo, the song is just not the same. Uh, we do not have the choice of what instruments we want to use. There's it's basically I don't know how to describe the TRS-80's music capabilities other than that it just sounds like it's not any particular instrument. It's more like a, an electronic rendition of sound. But anyways, without further ado here, we're going to get started. And the first thing you want to do is choose a volume or a tempo. So the standard volume I think is 20 and it goes up to like 30. It starts at 20 and it might go up to 40. I'm not really sure. There's a range, and if I do it like this, it'll be quieter. I want to use something loud but not too loud, so we're going to go with volume 25. And everything is separated by semicolons. Okay, so now we need to choose an octave, and I'm looking at the particular um, sheet music right now, and because I don't have very good screen capture abilities, you can't see me and you can't see the screen. You cannot see the sheet music. So that is a drawback, but I am not a professional YouTuber and I don't have the ability to do those things right now. Um, So we're just going to do it this way for right now. So we're going to pick an octave, and you have to be careful here because the computer uses octave 3, I believe. So that's its default. We need to go higher than that. Actually, this song appears to start on octave 3. And if I take a look at it for one moment, um, I think I'm going to start, if it starts on octave 3, it starts on octave 3 just briefly and then it bumps up to octave 4. So I don't need to specify octave, but I'm going to for my own reference. And this song is in a key that I'm not really familiar with, but if we have any people out there that play instruments, maybe you can tell me what this key is. We have C sharp, F sharp, and G sharp. Everything else is in the natural. So the first note in question here, now we have to pick a note length, and it's in sixteenths. So we just simply put length of note is 16. and then we place the note, which is an A, and we have to pause the note. Now, if a lot of people might not do this, and if you do not pause your notes, it will all bunch together and sound like crap. And you can find that as a side note in the actual manual, Getting Started with Extended Color Basic, and I'm sure it's in Color Basic as well. But I don't have Color Basic, I just have access to Extended Color Basic. So make sure you are pausing your notes with the same length of the note. And if you have any subsequent notes that are of the same length, you do not need to re-specify the note of that length, but you will need to pause each note. So now we're going to go up to octave 4, and we're going to place a B note, and it's still in 16th, so I do not need to specify like I just said, but we do need to pause, okay? And now we're in octave 4, which is higher than octave 3, and we're going to re-specify the note length as an 8th note. Those are a little longer than 16th notes, and we specified the length. Now we're going to place the note, which is a C sharp. We're going from B to C sharp, and then we're going to pause it as an 8th note, and then we go back down to octave 3. The note length stays the same, and we're going to go to an A, and we're going to pause that note. And we're going to run this program as a loop and see what we have so far. 100 go to 1. Let's see what this sounds like. Now that sounds just like I want it to. However, I left out one particular important detail. We also need a tempo. So the computer is playing it too slowly right now. I think the default tempo is somewhere around 5. So let's try tempo 7 and speed this up. That sounds more like the actual song. It might sound fast to you guys if you're not familiar with this song, but I might need to slow it down just a little bit, but I feel like it's in the right range. If we slow it down just a little, that's a little better. That might have been too fast, so let's continue on with this. We're going to go to the end of the line, and we're going to insert the rest of the song. It's actually kind of long here. I don't know if I'll be able to cover this all in one video, but let's try it. We left off in octave 3. An octave is 7 notes, so once we hit A, which it doesn't hit A, so we're going to stay in just these 2 octaves. It changes to another octave, but we don't have to worry about that. So we're going to stay in the 8th note range, and we hit A in octave 3, but we need to go back up to octave 4. And this is a step-by-step how to make a song here. And so I'm taking you step by step. And this note is actually a trill note, but I am not familiar of how to perform a trill. I don't know if I'm sure there's a technique you can use, but I don't know it. So we're not going to be doing a trill on this note, and we're just going to simply place the note, pause it, and then there's a B note. We're going to pause that, and this goes rather quickly once you get the technique down packed. I'm going to try not to make any mistakes here. So we went down to a B. Now we're going to go down to octave 3, which is a lower octave. And I got to make sure that C, F, and G are always sharp. So we have a C there. We don't have any Fs or Gs yet. We are going down an octave. We're going to place an E, pause that. and then we go back up to octave 4, and there's a B, and we're going to pause that, and now we're going to run the program. And if you ask me, that sounds perfect. If you're familiar with this harpsichord solo, you'll already recognize it. If not, you'll just have to wait until the end of the video where it's complete so you can hear the entire thing. And it's actually 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like it's 4 stanzas long. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Stanzas long. So we did 1 stanza, if I'm using the right word. I'm not a professional in music, but so now it appears that we have a, and I'm not a professional at reading music either, but it appears that we have a pause in the music itself. It looks like an eighth note pause. So I'm going to place that in there now. We're still in the lower octave, and it's going to continue for the next 2 notes. Now A should have been in, this is tough here. A, we started off on octave 3, A, this is always hard to do. I might have made an error here. I could change that at the end. I don't want to address that right now, but I might have made an octave error here. And that's easy to do. This is very confusing. But we're going to stay in octave 4. And as soon as I hit the A, that's octave. No. We should be in octave. Let's see. E. Then we went up to B. So we're actually in octave 4. We need to go back down to octave 3. And we need to go to 16th notes. And it's an F. We're going to pause that. And then we have a B. Actually, F is F sharp. So I got to go back and fix that. F sharp. Now, C, F, and G. If you guys see any mistakes, let me know. But looks like I got the F sharp here. Now we're going to be doing a G, which is also sharp. But I'm going to pause the F sharp first. Then we're going to do a G sharp. We're going to pause that. And, okay. Now, I go, and here's where I made a mistake, guys, okay. Now, I'm going to have to go back and fix that while I have it on my mind. But first, we're going to go up to octave 4 first. Then we're going to change the length to 8th notes. We're going to put an A in there, which is natural. Pause that. And then we have a tie with a trill. But the tie is no problem. It just takes 2 8th notes, combines them into a quarter note. So we're going to change the length to 4, which is quarter note. Place the C, and I just hit something, you know. I hit my hand on the side of the keyboard and I escaped the line. So we need to pause it as a quarter note. Let's run this real quick. Alright, before this goes any farther here, Let's see, hang on a sec. I seem to always have a cold lately, or a stuffy nose. It's just that time of the year in New England where the weather makes you sick, constantly getting warm and hot and cold. And all right, now there's a mistake here. We're gonna have to go back up to line 2. Okay, I don't want this continuing. As soon as you find the mistake, you want to fix it. You do not want to carry these things forward until the end because you might overlook it and it makes it harder to correct. So we are actually starting in octave 4, not octave 3, okay? We're placing an A, we're placing a B. Now I have octave 4 again. I need to get rid of that. So I'm going to get rid of that. We're placing a B, then we're placing a C sharp. Now that's also a mistake. We're getting rid of this. This is why, okay, it didn't sound right. This is all in the same octave. And then we place the A, and then we go to octave 4. That's correct. We place an E. What is going on here? Yeah, guys, I'm really having a hard time with this. As long as I don't go below A, I stay in the same octave. So we are already in octave 4, so I don't need this either. So we place an E, and then a B. And this is when we drop down to octave 3, and this is correct. And we place an E. We go back up to octave 4, place a B. We have a pause in the music. I forgot what that's called. I think it's called a rest, and not a pause. When you're playing a guitar or a keyboard or whatever, a violin, or there's something called a rest, and so there's an 8th note rest. It might be a 16th rest, but I don't know how to tell the difference. In rests, they're hard to identify. It's a strange symbol that they use. But not to digress too much here, I need to keep track of what I'm doing. So we do go down here to octave 3, but the rest of the song remains in octave 4. We hit a B, then we have the rest, then we hit a, and this is correct, we go down, drop down to octave 3, and we hit a F sharp, and then we hit a G sharp, and then we go back up to octave 4, so this is correct, and an A and an eighth note, change to 8th notes, and we hit an A, and then we hit a C. 2 8th notes combined makes a quarter note. So let's see if this sounds any better here. Yeah, that's the way it's supposed to be there, okay? So let's list this one more time. It does sound a little weird when it hits the C. See guys, and this is why I have an ear. You develop an ear for music. Now I've been playing instruments for quite a while. I don't play them as much as I used to, but I have what's called an ear for music. Now I can hear that this was incorrect, and as you can see, my other C is a sharp. This should be a C sharp. Unless there's a natural sign, like the G we have coming up, the C's, the F's, and the G's should all be sharp. Now, we're going to have to edit line 2 and go all the way to the end here and fix this and make that a C sharp. Now that sounds much better. You can't, the untrained ear can't really tell the difference, but there's a difference. So let me continue, and I'm going to try to get the second stanza completed in a timely fashion here, and maybe complete the other two stanzas. It might be a long video, but you know, I have the time right now. So we're staying in octave 4. We've been in octave 4 since A. We went A just to C, and now we're going to hit a B note. We're going to pause for we're going to have to change back to eighth notes, okay, because we had our tie there. And then we're going to hit it's actually not a B, a D note, okay, and I don't think that's the first D that we've used. And then we're going to pause the note, and then we're going to stay in the same length in the same octave. We're going to hit the E that we hit in the last stanza, okay, and then we're going to pause that, and then we're going to go natural on this G, pause that, and that takes care of the second stanza. And the third and fourth stanzas are going to be in a different line, because to tell you the truth, I don't know how much I can fit on one command line. I was thinking about that the other day. Sometimes they get pretty long, and I don't want to get cut off, because I know there's a limit to how many characters you can fit in one command line. So. And you can tell that this is coming together nicely, and I shouldn't have any trouble finishing this. So let's continue on. We're going to make a new line, and the tempo, the volume will remain the same. It will carry over until it's changed. So we left off in octave 4. So we're going to remain in octave 4 unless that is changed, and I'm not going to change it. And but we're going to need to redefine the length, 16th notes, which is half of an eighth note timing. And we have some triplets here, but they're not really triplets. I shouldn't say that. So actually we have a 16th rest, and then we are going to change to 16th notes, and we're going to do an F sharp followed by a 16th pause, and then we're going to drop down to an E, and this is all in octave 4. The octave last indicated is right here. Then we're going to have a 16th pause. We're going to jump up to an F sharp, pause that, and then we drop down to a D in the same octave, and we pause that. That's the D we used in our last stanza. Then we're going to jump up to F sharp, pause that, and I have to be really careful here. We're going to drop down to a C, but remember it's a C sharp, pause that. So we have all of our F's and C's and G's as sharps, except for the one natural right here. The one natural note. Now we drop down to that C sharp. We're going to go back up to an F sharp. We're going to pause that, and we're going to see what this sounds like now. Let's run this. Now, I can't tell if that's right or not, but it sounds right. So we're going to keep going here. And I'll check it real quick here. Now, we should go. We have our rest, then we have F sharp, E, F sharp, D, F sharp, C sharp, and then F sharp. We're going to insert, actually I did the insert in the wrong area here. We're going to insert the rest of the stanza and run it one more time. Then we're going to do the last stanza. So we're almost done here. And if you are a serious TRS-80 programmer, these tips that I'm giving you are going to be very useful to you. You might not realize it now, but if you implement them, your music. I don't know how many people use a Color Computer 2, 1 or 2 for music purposes, but this will improve the sound of your music coming out of your TRS-80. We only have 4 notes left here, and it's simply a B, and then we have a natural F with a trill, but as I said, I can't do trills on here. If you guys know how to do that, maybe you can let me know. I mean, I'm sure there's a way, but I'm not very good at trills to begin with. That's like Mozart level stuff, and I'm not very good with Mozart. And Mozart played a lot of harpsichord music. I'm not a trained musician, so I would have a trill is just basically a quick up and down variation of a bass note to a higher or lower note. Usually it's a higher note. So I would have to shift between F and G very quickly in the same length as the prescribed note. And I am messing this up. So what I'm going to do is instead of erasing your line, if you find that you're screwing up, do not panic. Press enter and then go back and modify it as opposed to having to type all of this in again. But as soon as I get the F sharp here and I pause, I forgot to change note lengths. So right here, I'm going to insert an 8th note length, which it should be. And then I hit the B and I pause for 8, not 16. Okay. And then I go up to an F natural. And I pause for 8. Then I go to a D. And I pause for 8, not 16. And then I want to finish off this stanza remaining in octave 4. And that was last noted in line 2, I think. But we have a tie here of a 16th note and an 8th note. So basically, that's a tough one. We need to do length 8 followed by a dot, which means an 8th note plus a half of an 8th note. So this is a dotted 8th note. Anytime you dot a note, it takes on the length of itself plus half of the length of itself. So we're going to dot the 8th note and place a B, and then we have to pause for an 8th and then pause for a 16th because you can't dot a pause statement. So we're going to edit 3 because I added a little extra there. Now I want to list this. And we're almost to the end of the song, or the solo. It's not a song, it's a solo within the song In My Life by the Beatles. So the last time I modified octave was all the way up here at the end of the 3rd stanza, which started with A, and we've remained, and I'm checking to make sure that we have, and as far as I can tell, we have indeed remained in the 4th octave since then and have not gone to the 3rd octave. and it doesn't go into the third octave until the end of the fourth stanza. So let's run this. Alright guys, this is sounding really good. I wish I didn't have a cold today. It's not really a cold, it's more like a persistent stuffy nose, and it's driving me crazy. I hate it when my nose is stuffed up like this. So we literally only have a few notes left, guys, and the solo will be done here. And I'm not going to do this plays twice, and it doesn't appear to change at all. But at the end of the solo, there is a slew of notes that I personally can't play on the keyboard, so I'm not going to try to replicate them here. I might do that in a future video, so you'll get most of the solo right now, but the end is very complex, and I don't have the time for it right now. I can't believe it's already been a half an hour. So, if you'll excuse me for one moment, I'll be right back. Okay, I had to put on a sweater. It's really cold in here today. We're at 39 degrees right now, so I don't know where you guys are located, but I'm in New England and it's starting to get cold. So let me just finish this up real quickly. We did that B, we did that dotted eighth note, paused it correctly. Now we're going to place an E, followed by, actually, I have to redefine, we're not in the dotted eighth notes anymore. We're going back to 16th notes. And I'm going to place, like I said, an E, pause it, then a D, pause it, then an E, pause it. And I've done this a number of times, so I've never done it live like this, but once you get the pattern, it's very simple. But you do need to check for mistakes, because everyone makes mistakes, and I don't care what level programmer you are, you need to check for mistakes. It's not going to come out perfect. There's always going to be errors that you need to address. So then we're going to go to an E. I'm getting lost in this, guys. So where did I leave off with the B, right? Then I changed back to 16th notes. I did an E, a D, an E. We're still in 16th notes. Then a C sharp, then an E. Now I should be at a B. Okay, and then an E. And then we walk out of the 16th notes, and all of our C's, F's, and G's are sharp, except for when they're natural, as in the case of this F. There's an F here, and the G that I mentioned. You'll see a natural sign, which looks like a little, almost like a, I don't know what to call it. Looks like, music is tough to, it's not tough to read, but if you don't know what you're looking at, it's tough to read. But a natural symbol looks like a square. It precedes the note by a little square with lines coming off of it. I don't know. It's just never changed. Let's see here, guys. Before I get really off track, let's try to keep this simple here. We're going to change to back to 8th notes, and we're walking out of 16th notes. We're remaining in the 4th octave, and we're going to place an A, and then we're going to jump up to an E, which should be a trill, but that's not my concern. Then we're going to do a C sharp. Remember to pause it. And look, guys, I'm messing this up. So I just hit enter. I edit the line. I retain my data. But look, I changed to a length A, and I'm still making 16 pauses. So I need to change the pauses to 8th note pauses. Alright, so I got as far as the C sharp. Pause that. Now I'm going to insert the other final 2 notes and we're done. That's 4 stanzas and we're done. But we're going to change back to 16th notes. This song is all over the place. We're going to do a B. We're going to pause it for 16. Okay. And then we jump down to octave 3 for one final note. Octave 3 only appears a handful of times in this song, but you do need to note it, otherwise your music won't sound right. And this is an E, P16, and that completes the song, so let's see what it sounds like. And if you guys know this song and you have it at home, listen to it and listen to when this solo plays and tell me if this isn't accurate, because to tell you the truth, this is pretty darn accurate for a 1982, or is it 81, 82, 83 Microsoft, early Microsoft that was licensed by the Tandy Corporation, which is a part of Radio Shack, which issued these TRS, Tandy Radio Shack TRS-80 line of home computers, beginning with the 1 and then the 2, which I owned as a kid, probably 10 years old. And then they issued a 3rd, which was much more capable. It was like a mixture of a Commodore 64 type computer with a Nintendo NES 8-bit system. I don't know much about it. I only had the 2. 3 was probably a wonderful computer. It's too bad I didn't have one. I'm sure most of us did not have one. If you're a subscriber or a viewer of my videos, you're probably more in this range right here, where you either had a 1 or a 2 or both, but not a 3. And that's the case for most people. And I'm finding that most people had a color computer too. The 3 is unknown territory for me, so I wouldn't even go there. I know nothing about it. So this is what I do. I make these videos. I program the TRC. I program the color, the COL or color. If I'm spelling color right, computer 2. Okay. This is the computer that I program in my videos. It's the one that I had as a kid. It was the first computer I ever owned. And so now I could turn this into a music video of sorts, but I don't have time for that. If you look at my videos, I do have music videos where there's colors and animations as well. And you can do that by sizing these down and adding more play statements. And then what you do is, in between the play statements, you insert a color statement to change the screen a different color, or you incorporate a graphic. So even though there's not a true musical overlay, there's techniques that you can use to create a music video that's unobstructed by any significant pauses, and it looks like it looks like you have music overlay. And like I said, check out my Bach's Prelude to Fugue, check out my Oh Sherry by Journey, and you will see that it can be done in a crude way. Actually getting better at it in Tales of Suburbia. I'm incorporating music into the game, and I'll be posting an update on that as well. I have it posted already, but it wasn't arranged properly, so I'm arranging it so that the music doesn't constantly play, and it's more a smooth sound, like a smooth. I'm trying to get the game to play as smoothly as possible. So I'll see you guys on the next video. I hope you like this. I hope you give it a thumbs up. I hope you learned something. I hope you make some comments. And I'll leave you with the song that we just created together live on this video. And I will see you on the next one. Take care and goodbye.